Then we go to the West Coast and the Western Conference, as we see here, start off tonight after the Heat Hawks game. You have the Timberwolves at the Lakers on TNT, and then tomorrow after the Bulls and Toronto game, you have the Thunder versus the Pelicans. Starting things off with the Timberwolves and the Lakers, who will be meeting after the Heat and Hawks tonight. I like the Lakers because obviously, what we talking about, Rudy Gobert suspended for this game for his punch heard around the world to Kyle Anderson. And also, Jay McDaniels is done for the season because, as I mentioned earlier, he punched the wall. Vegas says 8.5 Lakers. ESPN Analytica says 87% Lakers. Like, nobody sees a chance in hell that this team is going to win. Nobody does. It's the idiocy of the Minnesota Timberwolves that pretty much gave the Lakers the 7th seed. In my opinion, it's just the idiocy. And speaking of which, Minnesota did take 2 out of 3 from the Lakers, by the way. They beat them in LA back on March 3rd, 110 and 102. But the Lakers returned the favorite at the end of March, 123, 111 in Minnesota. So even though I'm saying all this, and I'm saying the idiocy of the Timberwolves is the reason why the Lakers are going to win, they still got Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns is back, to say the least. Despite Karl Anthony Towns only playing 29 games this year, he did give the Timberwolves 21 points a game with 8 rebounds a game and 5 assists a game. Anthony Edwards has been holding it down from start to finish, 25 points per game, 6 rebounds a game, and 4 assists a game. But they're going to need help. Can Mike Conley do what D'Angelo Russell is doing for the Lakers? Is Nas Reed available? What would Kyle Anderson do now after what him and Rudy Gobert have been through? Well, how would Taurean Prince play in this game? Okay. Austin Rivers, when the last time we seen him on the court playing games? Brent Ford was a star for the Milwaukee Bucks, but now he barely plays. So what's going to happen to the Minnesota Timberwolves, because you're going against a Lakers team? A Lakers team who's been on a roll since the trade deadline, getting D'Angelo Russell, Mikal Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, to go along with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Alex Caruth. Austin Reeves has been playing better. This Lakers team has been on a mission. This Lakers team, which y'all know I'm a big Laker hater and I hate doing this. They are 8-2 in their last 10. They have been rolling. Okay? They have been rolling. They finished the season 4 games above 500. I said this, and I meant it. Come back to me when the Lakers are above 500. They're above 500. They are in the play-in. And it looks like they are going to beat Minnesota to get the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round of the playoffs, which doesn't bode well for me because I picked Memphis to get to the Western Conference Finals. My Western Conference Finals don't look good either way because I have the Grizzlies most likely facing the Lakers, and then I have the Clippers, who I picked to come out the West, facing the Suns, which I'll deal with that later on in the week. Nevertheless, it is the Lakers. Finished his 20th season in the league, the King LeBron James, giving you 29 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, and 7 assists a game. The running mate Anthony Davis, 26 points a game, 9 rebounds, 12 and a half rebounds a game. Been doing his thing. Then D'Angelo Russell has come in with Dylan Everly, 17 points per game, 6 assists a game. Austin Reeves, who was up to scoring as of lately, has been playing better. Dennis Schroeder gets in every now and then. Yeah, Malik Beasley, who's been struggling shooting the ball as of lately, but he can get hot at any time. Richie Moore, also another shooter. Jared Vanderbilt, a defensive-minded type of guy. This team is rounding into form, and I don't like it. But the Lakers are running into form. And last Sunday, LeBron James put on a good old performance against the Utah Jazz. LeBron James in that game. Let me go back to that game from Sunday against the Utah Jazz. LeBron James was put on a shooting performance. We're talking 36 points, 8 from 14 from 3, 13 from 25 from the field, with 6 points and 6 boards. Anthony Davis gave you 16 to 13. He didn't really leave much. D'Angelo Russell 17. Jared Brennan with 12. Austin Reeves 12. Rory Hachimura off the bench with 12. Malik Beasley off the bench with 13. These guys have been playing better. They shooting 48. They shot 48.5% from the field. They shot 40% from 3 against the Utah Jazz. This team is running the form. I don't like it. But how I do this, I talk real. And the realness in me is saying the Lakers win, going away, and they get ready for Memphis Grizzlies in the first round of the playoffs. And Minnesota will have to play at home Friday night to get the AC. Who could they possibly face in the AC? That is a question to be answered because on tomorrow night, after the Bulls Raptors, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder and the New Orleans Pelicans on ESPN. I don't know what to think because one, Zion Williamson ain't playing. We haven't seen Zion Williamson since January 2nd of the new year, which is ridiculous. You have a hamstring injury, and I need to look this up. Because I need to know, on average, what's the recovery time for a hamstring injury? Mild to moderate grade 1 or grade 2 tears or strains can heal within 3 to 8 weeks with diligent home therapy. This is typical hamstring injury. Now look up for NBA players. Hamstrings in the NBA generally result in a 10 to 14 day absence if it's mild, while minor strains often take around 3 to 6 weeks. Severe strains are where things get tricky as they are closer to a rupture and can take months to heal. The reason why I'm looking at this is because Zion Williamson won't be playing. We haven't seen Zion Williamson since January 2nd. It is now April 11th. We're talking 3 whole months. Okay. Zion Williamson injured his hamstring January 2nd against the 76ers. In the immediate aftermath, the team announced that he could miss multiple weeks, but they did not specify a timeline. The only information provided that he will be evaluated after 3 weeks. After those 3 weeks, on January 24th, the Pelicans said they believed the hamstring was healing as intended, but they didn't believe he was ready to return. So they gave him an additional 2 weeks. So we at week 5 now. And after that 2 weeks, they said he'll be ready by 1 more week into where we are headed now. This brings us to the current status. Pelicans Executive Vice President of Basketball David Griffin said on February 2nd that Wilson aggravated his right hamstring and will be sidelined for several more weeks. Before this, Wilson had advanced through his rehab to 3-on-3 work, which is generally considered the first big step towards return. It's assumed that he aggravated the hamstring doing this work, causing a setback. With Wilson slated to miss additional time, let's take a look at the injury itself and why it is so difficult to deal with, as well as Zion's injury history. Hamstrings are generally in the NBA result in 10 to 14 day absence if mild, while moderate often can take 3 to 6 weeks. Serious strains are where things get tricky as they are close to a rupture in the muscle and can take up to months to heal. So are we saying Zion Williamson has a grade 3 severe strains, which are anything greater than a grade 2 and could include a full rupture? Williamson was initially diagnosed with a grade 2, when he returned to 3-on-3 work, it's likely he overworked it, causing the aggregation. Now we have diagnosed to be a grade 3 strain. This is why the New Orleans Pelicans will never reach their potential. Because their star player, in Zion Williamson, is never healthy enough. When he was healthy, they didn't have Brandon Ingram. And without Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson had the Pelicans in the top 3 slot in the West. But when Brandon Ingram comes back, Zion Williamson goes down. Not only does Zion Williamson goes down, he re-aggravates the injury during rehab. Which is why we at the point where Zion Williamson can't even play in the play-in. And who knows if the Pelicans can survive and make the AC against the Denver Nuggets, that he will be ready for that game and that series. So now that I got my Zion Williamson out the way, back to the Thunder and the Pelicans. ESPN analysts are giving the Pelicans a 63% chance of winning this game over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Vegas is giving the Pelicans 5.5 as the home favorite. It's pretty much Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading one of the youngest teams in the NBA against Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum and the Pelicans. See, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has been a crazy man. Scoring 31.5 points per game with 5 rebounds and 5 assists a game. He's leading the youngest team in the league because the next closest person to him is Josh Giddey, who is only scoring 17 points per game. That's a whole 17-point difference between Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the second best player on the team. That's how much Shai Gilgeous-Alexander means to the Oklahoma City Thunder, because without him, they would not be in the play-in. Matter of fact, they'll be in the bottom tier of teams with the Houston Rockets, the Detroit Pistons, and that group there. That's how much Shai Gilgeous-Alexander means to them. But they have a tall test because we're talking Brandon Ingram scoring 25 points per game with 5 rebounds and 6 assists a game. CJ McCollum scoring 21 points per game. You're going along with 6 assists and 4 rebounds a game. Then you have Trey Murphy, who's giving you 14.5. You have the big man in Vukovic, who's giving you 14 a game. And then Jose Calderon, whenever he wants to, he can give you a good 15, 18-point game whenever he's feeling it. Herb Jones is no scorer. He can put points on the board as a good defender. The Pelicans made it tough on themselves, but they'll get past Oklahoma City, which leads me to the rematch that took place on Sunday between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New Orleans Pelicans Friday night for the AC. Okay, so that's the recap real quick. Let me go back so you understand what I'm doing. So this is the East right here. I have the Heat beating the Hawks, sending the Heat into the first round match with the Boston Celtics as the 7th seed, and making Atlanta play a home game on Friday against the Toronto Raptors, because I feel the Toronto Raptors are going to send the Bulls home packing for the season. And then in the West, I have the Lakers taking down the Timberwolves tonight, sending the Lakers to the 7th seed and facing Memphis Grizzlies in the first round of playoffs, while the Timberwolves will host the New Orleans Pelicans on Friday night for the AC and a date with the Denver Nuggets, okay?